Good afternoon. We are on Unit 2, Lesson 2 today in Phonics. We started a new unit yesterday. We're going to continue with that one today. All right, so we're on Lesson 2, Unit 2. So I am going to say some words, and then you are going to change them up. So I need you to get out your Phonics journal. Get out your Phonics journal, please. Okay, so in your Phonics journal on page 23 yesterday, you wrote your new spelling words on page 23 of your Phonics journal. So we have the words yelled, yanked, slumped, limped, plopped, smiled, shrugged, liked, patted, and you. And on page 24 today, you need to put 24 on the bottom and go ahead and put mix it up, 10-7, and mix it up because we're going to do our words where we change. So if you need to pause, go ahead and push pause and then push play when you are ready to move on. So our first word that we are going to try to write together is the word slid. Slid. Think about how many sounds you hear in that word, slid, and try to write that word for me, please. So I know that the word slid, I hear an S and an L, and then I hear an I and a D. I hear the word slid, slid. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change it, but I want the I in the middle to say I. So what's my new word going to be if it says I instead of I? It's going to say slide. And I know that in order to make that I say its name, I have to have an E at the end of it. That's the magic E. All right, the next word we're going to try is the word till. Till, like the money that you put the cash register, at the cash register, the little drawer that it goes in, it's called a till. Okay, sum that word out, stretch it out, think about how many sounds do you hear. Till. I hear 3 sounds. Till. Till. So I know it is T-I. And then I know because it's a short vowel sound, I have to double that L. Till. But now I don't want it to say I in the middle. I want it to say all. All. What's my new word going to be? Tall. The new word's going to be tall. Now I know the word all is A-L-L. And so the word tall is T-A-L-L. Tall. The next word I want you to write is the word got. Got. How many sounds do you hear in that word? G-ought. I hear 3. G-ought. G-ought. Good. And just because I know that the G says G and the O says off and the T says T, I wrote the word got. Now I want you to change it. Instead of a short O, aw, I want it to say a long O, O. What's our new word going to be? It's going to be goat. Now, I know that if I just put an E at the end of that word, G-O-T, that's not going to look right. So that's not going to work. But remember, guys, this is not about spelling, and this is about the sounds that you hear, okay? So if you spelled this wrong, it's fine. But the word is goat. G-oat. The O and the A together say O. G-oat. All right, I want you to write the word cup. Like I have a cup, cup. I hear three sounds. Up, up. Good. And it could be a C or a K. If you wrote a K, that's fine. But I knew that it started with a C, so up, cup. Good. Now we're going to change it. I don't want it to say up. I want it to say an. What's our new word going to be? It's going to be the word can. An, can. And I know how to spell an, so I just put it after the C. An. The new word is twin, like you have a twin brother. Twin. Think about how many sounds you hear. Twin. I hear four sounds. Twin. Twin. So I know that that's a T and a W, says tw. And I know the word in is I-N, so I wrote in, twin. Good. So we're going to change it though. We're going to take away the t part. We're taking off the t. What is our new word going to be? Win. It's going to be win. And we're just taking off the T. So we just have to write the word win. Like I win the game all the time. Win. All right. Our last word is the word 10. Like a tin can. Not the number 10. 10 like the metal. N. N. I hear three sounds. N. N. So I know I have E and then the word in. N. But now we're going to change it to the number 10. Do you hear the difference? 10, 10. A lot of us say the number 10 incorrectly, especially here in the South. We just say it like it's 10, but it's 10, 10. So we would change it to T-E-N, 10. So we went from 10 to 10. Very good. All right, so let's go back to our slideshow. Okay, so the words that we just changed were, we went from slid to slide, from till to tall, from got to goat, from cup to can, from twin to win, and from 10 to 10. Very good. All right, so now we're going to manipulate some phonemes today. Our first word is the word sling. Sling. And if we break it apart, the SL is the blend. Sling. All right, but we're going to get rid of the second sound in that blend. We're going to get rid of the ol part. Okay, so now it's just ing, ing. So what's our new word? The new word is sing. Good job. The next word is breach. Breach. If we break it apart, the BR is the blend, the breach. So, but we're going to get rid of the second sound in the blend. We're going to get rid of so our new word is beach. Beach. So the new word on the curve is beach. Very good, beach. All right, our next word is steel. Like not like you take something that's not yours, but like the metal steel. So we have steel, steel. We break it apart. The blend is the st part, steel. We're going to get rid of the t sound. Eel, eel. So our new word is seal. All right, you notice it changed? It went from EE to EA. They both say E. Our new word is swam. Swam. We break it apart. The blend is the sw part. Swam. We're getting rid of the w part of it. It's just going to be am. Am. So our new word on the curve is Sam. Good. All right. The next word is platter. Platter. We break it apart. It's platter. Platter. Good job. We're going to get rid of the O. It's just patter. Patter. So the new word is patter. Good job. All right. The new word is stole. Stole. O is the blend. Is the blend. We're going to get rid of the t part. We have ole. Ole. The new word on the curve is sole. Good. Now this is a sole, like the bottom of your shoe, the sole of your shoe. This is not the sole, like what lives inside of your body. It's like the bottom of your shoe. It sounds the same, but they're different. All right. Our next word is broom. Broom. The blend is the BR. Broom. Broom. We're just going to get rid of the part. Now it's boom. Boom. The new word is boom. Good. Our next word is trot. 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 The blend is the part, and then we have ot. Trot. We're going to get rid of the So now we have ot. Ot. The new word on the curve is tot. And that's like a tater tot, not like I taught second grade. All right, the last word is still. 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 The blend is the ST. Still. We're going to get rid of the t part. Ill. Ill. So the new word is sill, like a window sill. Very good. All right, so our spoonerism for today, I'm going to tell it to you first. I want you to think about it, and then I'll show it to you. Okay, you ready? Keyed the fat. Keyed the fat. All right. Keyed the fat. Keyed the fat. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? It's going to be feed the cat. Good job. Feed the cat. All right. So our learning targets for I can read, chain, and write words with Magic E. I can read tricky words, and I can ask and answer questions about key details of the story, The Milk. So we are going to look at some new sounds that we started learning yesterday. Yesterday in our last lesson, we started learning some new sounds for vowels. So we know the short ah sound, like in hop, okay? That power bar, it's not terribly big, but it's pretty big. So we know that the O makes a short ah sound, but if you have the O with E, O-E, it says O. So even though the O and the E are separated by another letter, it still says O, okay? So the spelling for this vowel sound is just like the A and the E and the I and the E that we learned yesterday. The two letters that make up the spelling are separated. They're a separated digraph, but they still work together and they still stand for the O sound. So let's stand out this word. We have own. Do that again. Own. So we have 4 sounds there. Own. Good. So let's read some more words with the O sound. Note. Hope. Road. Froze. Bone. All right, so then we're going to go and we're going to put those in our coach in just a few minutes. Remember, the OE says O even if they're separated by a consonant. Okay, the next one is, we know that the U makes the sound, like in the word bud or umbrella. It's a small power bar though. It's not very common, but it still can make the sound with the letter U. But it can also say U, like a long vowel sound, even if it is separated by a consonant, like in the word cute or cube or mute or flute. So we have the U sound. The spelling for this one is also like the AE and the IE and the OE that we just learned. Even though the letters are separated, they still work together to make the U sound. It's called a separated digraph. Let's sound out this word. Cube. Cube. 3 sounds for that word. So we're going to read some more words that have the U sound. Okay. Cute. Fuse. Mute. Mule. Fume. All right, so we are going to practice chaining as a group with the Magic E card, okay? So remember, if we take a word that has a short vowel sound, like cut, and we add the Magic E at the end of it, now it says cute. Okay, so we are going to magically change the vowel sound in some of these words. Let's get started. So we have the word op, hop. But Alakazam, now it says ope, hope. App, app. That word is cap. Alakazam, add the Magic E. Now it says ape, cape. Not. Alakazam, add the Magic E. Now it says note, note. Mop, mop. Alakazam, Magic E. Now it says mope, mope. This is the word thin, thin. But Alakazam, add the Magic E. Now it says fine, fine. Cub. That is the word cub. Alakazam, add the Magic E. Now it says cube. The word is cube. Nice job. All right, now we have, this is a blend in it. Glob. The word is glob, but we're going to add that Magic E. And now there's an O and the E that says O, so it is globe. The word is globe. This is the word tap. App. We're going to add Magic E, and now it's going to say tape. All right, now we have the word slid. Slid. But we're going to add that Magic E, and now it says slide. Very good. All right, so we are not going to do this page because we just did all of the work that you're supposed to do on the page together. But we are going to practice reading some 2-syllable words on worksheet 2.2. And remember, a word has as many syllables as it has vowel sounds. So if a word has 1 vowel sound, it has one syllable, like in ask, or bank, or gum, or snail. So it doesn't say one letter, okay? It says one vowel sound, because this A and I together, those are both vowels, but when they're beside each other, they only have one vowel sound. But a word with two vowel sounds has two syllables, like the word rainbow. We have A and O. Or wagon, we have a and or yogurt has o and and penny has the and the e. So it can help. It can help if we cover the second part of the word with a finger while we're reading the first part of the word. So here's the word ache, and I know that says a because there's an e here. Ache, shop, shop. So then I can put them together and I can make the word bake shop. All right, so we're going to look at one of your work pages for today, one of your practice pages. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make horseshoe connections. All right, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So if you see here how, so I can show you what to do. Okay. So look at the word tadpole. What part of that word says O? The O and the E together say O, but because it's separated by another letter, we have to make a horseshoe. You guys know what a horseshoe looks like? Okay, so we're going to down and back up and around the E. There we go. It's kind of like an upside down U. Look about the word bathrobe. What part of that word says O? The O and the E. So we have to make another horseshoe. O around the B. There we go. What about the word compute? Compute. What part of that word says U? The U and the E. So we got to make a horseshoe. U and the E. Very good. And what about hopeful? Hopeful. What says O? The O and the E. So it's over here. It's not at the end of the word this time. There we go. So that's what you're going to do for part of your work tonight. Okay. It's time to wiggle. It's time to wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. All right, today you're going to make a cute face. Alrighty, and now you're going to smell a rose. And I actually have a rose. It's not real, but I have one. Try not to inhale those bugs. And then you're going to poke your nose, not pick. It says poke, not pick. It doesn't say pick. All right, go ahead and wiggle back down to your seat. So we are going to learn some new tricky words today. And remember that tricky words do not play by the rules. They have to just be memorized. Okay, so we have the word have. I have to do my chores every week. Now the part of this word that is expected to sound the same way is I expect the H because it says and I expect the V to sound the same. But the part that's tricky in this word is the A and the E, because didn't we just learn yesterday that when you have an A and an E together, it says A? So technically this word, should it say have? Does that sound right though? That doesn't sound right. That should say have. That's why it's a tricky word, because it says a instead of a. The next word is the word by. I make my bed all by myself. So the B part, the B sound, is expected. But the Y is not expected. That's the tricky part because usually a Y would say yeah, but when a Y is at the end of a word, it's either going to sound like an I or an E. And in this word, it's going to say I, because if it said E, that would be the word be, and that's spelled B-E. So the tricky part is the sound of that Y. It says I. The next word is the word my. I love my school, and it's the same thing as the word by. The M is an expected sound, but the I sound with Y is the tricky part. Okay, so our new story today is called The Milk. But let's review events that happened in the story, Mike's bedtime, yesterday. So in our story, Mike was in his room playing, and Dad told him that it was bedtime, but Mike did not want to go to bed, and he tried to convince Dad, oh, but if the street lights aren't on and the sun's not down, it's not bedtime. So he ran to the curtains, to the drapes, and he looked out the window, but the sun had set, and it was pitch black outside, and the street light was on. So he knew it was time for bed. So Dad told him that he would tell him some bedtime tales. And that's where it left off, because today we're going to hear the first one. Let's review some important terms first. We have a setting, which is where the story takes place, and the setting yesterday was in Mike's bedroom. We have the characters, which are the people or animals in the story. In yesterday's story, our characters were Mike and his dad. And then we have the plot, which is the problem and the resolution and the things in between. It's the problem and the events in the story. So today we're going to learn about a new genre of fiction, and that just means a type or a category or a selection of fiction, and it's called a fable. And fables are stories that teach a lesson. We call these lessons morals. So you have heard many fables in first grade when you were listening and you were learning. I know that you have probably heard the story of the tortoise and the hare, okay? And it teaches a lesson. The fables teach a lesson. So the title of today's story is The Milk, and it is similar to Aesop's fable, The Milkmaid and the Pail. So these are some words that are going to be in our story for today. So let's practice them. I'm going to read them and I want you to read them with me, okay? Well, you read them after me. Home, hope, those, stone, use, cute, fumed. Some of our vocabulary that we need to learn for today's story, the word lass. That is a word for a girl, another name for a girl that they use in like England and Scotland and Ireland and other parts of Europe. A lass is a girl. Spilt is like someone spilled something. There's something all over the floor or the table. It's spilt. And then the last word is slop. And it's like all of the leftover food and gunk and mess that pigs like to eat. So pigs eat slop. So we are going to read the story, The Milk, to learn the moral or the lesson of the story. And we're going to use the illustrations to help us understand the story. Okay, so here is our cover page. And here's our table of contents. And if I look for the milk, I see that it starts on page 8. Good. All right, here we go. The milk. Mike's dad was getting set to tell a bedtime tale. He said, the name of this bedtime tale is The Milk. Once upon a time, a lad named Jane set off from home to sell a bucket of milk. As she went, She was thinking of the cash she would get from selling the milk. I have big plans. I will sell this milk, she said, and I will use the cash to get a hen. I hope my hen will make lots of money. Then I will sell those eggs and use the cash to get a cute piglet. I will take care of the piglet and let him munch on pig slop till he gets nice and plump. Look at her. She's just thinking. Look at this cloud over here. Isn't that a silly looking cloud? It looks like a pig. She's not paying attention to where she's going though, is she? Then I will sell the pig and get a nice dress that I can dance in. But just as she was thinking of the dress, she tripped on a stone and the bucket fell with a crash. The milk splashed on the path. Jane made a face and fumed at the spilt milk. And the moral or the lesson of the story is take one step at a time. You guys may have heard that's a different way where someone says, don't get ahead of yourself. So instead of thinking about all the things she could do in the future with the money that she had not yet earned, Jane probably should have been paying attention to where she was going so that she didn't spill that milk. Is that the end? Asked Mike. That's it, said his dad. What a shame. She had such big plans. Mike's dad nodded. You can make plans, but planning by itself will make things happen. Mike sat thinking a bit. Then he said, Dad, that bedtime tale was not bad, but it was sad. Next time, would you tell a fun tale? Yes, said his dad. Next time. All right, so what is the setting of this story? It wasn't in his room the whole time. So there's two settings this time. Mike's room was one. The beginning and the end of today's story was in Mike's room. But what happened in the middle? Where was the setting of the middle part? It was of Jane, and she was walking down a path, so she was outside. So how do you know the setting of the story? Well, how do we know what the setting was? If we go back and look, like we know that this is Mike's room, so that's part of the setting, and we know that she's on a path. We can use the illustrations to help us. We can see that she's outside because there's clouds and there's houses and there's cows. And it says a lass named Jane set off from home. So she was not at her house, but we know that up here, Mike is at his house. He's in his bedroom. So the illustrations are a big way for us to tell the setting of the story. So who are the characters in this story? We had Mike and Dad again, but then who's the new character? Jane. Jane was the new character. And what plot of this story? What is happening? So in this story, Mike's dad is preparing to tell him a bedtime tale, and then he tells him the tale of Jane and the spilt milk. And the problem for Jane was that she spilled the milk, and she doesn't have anything to sell now. But there wasn't really a resolution to this, right? It hasn't been solved yet. So what is the moral of this story? What lesson are you supposed to learn? Not get ahead of yourself, to take one step at a time, to do what you're doing in the moment and not worry about the future until you get there. All right, so back to our worksheet. We talked about 2.2. Okay, so this was the one we talked about earlier. And the other one you're going to do today is 2.3. So you're going to read these words: hope, cute, note, rope, poke, broke, shown, and huge. Okay, and you're going to do this Same thing with these that you did with the ones on 2.2. It says O. What two letters say hope? It's the O and the E. So you're going to make the horseshoe. Okay? You're going to do that with all of those words, but then you need to figure out which one of these words fits in the sentence correctly. Can you lift a blank block? Can you lift a hope block? Can you lift a poke block? Can you lift a cute block? Well, that one could work, but it doesn't sound right. Can you lift a broke block? It would say broken, and that doesn't work. Can you lift a note block? Can you lift a shown block? Can you lift a rope block? Can you lift a huge block? Which one makes most sense? I think that huge makes the most sense. Oops. I'm going to put the word huge here. Okay. Now remember, if you do this in Cami, then and you get it wrong, if you need to correct it, you just go back and fix it. Okay. So you're going to make the horseshoe for the O and the U sound, and then you're going to finish filling in the sentences, the words in the correct sentence. Okay. So that is your work for today, just those 2 pages. So our learning targets for today were, I can read, chain, and write words with Magic E, and we did a lot of those today. I can read tricky words, and we talked about the words have, by, and my today. And I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Milk. That is all that we have for today's class. Make sure that you do your 2 pages, and I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day. Bye.